All right, hey class, we are back with another video demonstration. And for this project, we're actually going to be working on a landscape drawing. We're going to incorporate some pattern. Pattern is a principle of design, and we're going to get started. So earlier in the week, we should have already learned by now the difference between the different grounds. So there's a foreground, which is the objects that are closest to the viewer, which would be us. There's the middle ground, which would be objects that are in the middle of the artwork, and then the background. So this project is just going to help us use those terms and use that information to be applied to this project, okay? So we are actually going to start off with the foreground, which is going to be down here. Again, these are the objects that will be closer to us. And we're going to start by making a line, a wavy line that kind of looks like water. You do not have to do exactly as I'm doing, but you can do something similar. Does not have to be perfect, and it does not have to be exactly like Miss Cook's drawing. I want you all to make your own decisions, but that is where we're going to start. Also, I should have mentioned this earlier. Make sure your page is being held like this. We're drawing a landscape, and this is the landscape orientation for your paper. All right. So now that we have our first line down, we're actually going to do a second line over top of that, and it's going to be a looser wave, so it won't be so many curls. It'll actually just be like a wavy line. Okay. Something like that, I think is good. All right, after that, we're actually going to do a straight line across. If you have a straight edge or a ruler, you can go ahead and use that. I don't really mind not using a ruler because I don't have one accessible right now, so I'm just going to draw a line straight across. It does not have to be the straightest line in the world, but it gives the impression that that's just a straight plain field. Okay. Next, we're actually going to draw mountains, and this is going to begin our background. So I'm going to start from up here, work my way down, and then just create a few zigzag lines that represents the mountains. And there we go. We have mountains. Lastly, I'm going to put a sun or a moon in the background. It's up to you on what you want to draw, but I'm going to put a sun. So I'm thinking I'll just do a big curve right here to make sure that the sun is just super, super big. And then another curve right there that gives the impression that it's a circle, even though it's cut off. I can go in and fix all of these mistakes. I'll just make this line a little bit thicker since I messed up. You know, problem solving. If I'm moving too fast, feel free to pause the video. There's my sun, and then I'm going to do sun rays. So sun rays actually are lines that seemingly come from the circular sun. Again, no ruler. I'm just going to freehand it. Whatever comes out is what I'll work with. I want to skip over the mountain because the sun ray is behind it in the background. And then I'll draw another line, another one, another one. All right, so those are my sun rays. Excuse me, guys. So now that I have the basis of my drawing complete, I want to go in each section and draw different patterns. Attached to this assignment on Google Classroom are various examples of different patterns that you can try to incorporate in your artwork, or you can just think of your own. For me, I think I'm going to do a few from the example image, and then I'll do a few of my own. By all means, pick whatever you would like, and you can also fast forward through this section if you want to just do your own patterns. But if you want to follow me, cool. I think I'm going to do some circles here. at the bottom. Leave that little bit of a white space there. I think that's a really cool effect. And like I said, if you want to fast forward through this part of the video, go right ahead. I don't blame you. Just make sure you fill in this space, even if you don't follow me. Uh-oh, I messed up there. That's okay. Once I'm done with these patterns, I'm actually going to color this in. I will not record that part because I want you all to pick your own colors and what you think works for your project. But I will have a finished product, a finished image example on Google Classroom if you would like to reference it. Just going back to fill in some of the spaces that I see that I could have added something there. Please take your time, don't rush. If you're coloring something in, make sure you fill in all of the spaces. All right, that's my first set of patterns, and then I'm going to do each section. This one, I'm going to keep it fairly simple and do a repetitive line pattern here, wavy line, making sure I skip over any intersections. There we go. This will look so much cooler once we color it in. It's like creating our own coloring page. Just trying to fix some of those mistakes. All right, and then for this section, I think I'm just gonna do a checkered board and then color it in with two different colors. Again, I'm not using a straight edge or a ruler, which is totally fine. I'm just gonna freehand it. If you would like to use a ruler because you're a perfectionist, I totally understand. I used to be the same way. Go ahead and use a ruler or a straight edge to help with the straight lines. Over and over. Again, you guys can follow your own patterns. You do not have to choose the same patterns as me. Now it's time for the mountains. Feel free to speed through this. I know it's pretty tedious, but these are my mountains. I'm just creating little half circles, curved lines, if you will. in these sections. I have no idea why I'm doing this, but I think it might be a good design aesthetic once I finish and color it in. Feel free to also make some lines thicker or thinner. Just have fun with it. Try to be as creative as possible. As you can see, I'm almost closing in. I'm pretty much just trying to find each corner and creating these half circles. They kind of remind me of clouds, but instead of clouds, it's a mountain. And once I color this all in, it'll look so much better, that much better. Keep in mind, because we're not used to just using our hand muscles in this capacity, your hands might start cramping up. I have heard that a lot from past students, that once they started coloring this bad boy in, their hands were cramped. But that's okay, because, you know, it's painful trying to get done a magnificent project. I think here I'm just going to add some swirls and color this in, probably with some yellows and some different oranges. All right. Here we have it. I'm also going to sit here and add in some of the patterns here, just because I think it'll add more detail to the overall drawing. So I'm going to add in some more patterns, probably some zigzag lines. And then, like I said, I'm going to add in the oranges and the yellows because it's supposed to represent the sun. So once you have all of your patterns down set on your page, what you're going to do is color this in. Make sure you have enough colors to color each section however you want it to look. Also make sure your craftsmanship is on point. So you see I have some mistakes here where the lines are like crisscrossing. I didn't really want that. I was kind of rushing, but I can always go in and try to fix it. I can try to make some areas thicker than others if there are a lot of, you know, mistakes, or I can just fill it in if I want to. If I want to go through and fill each section in, I can do that. So here's the final project. I know there's a bit of a glare, but you can see here the wave, which is the foreground, this grassy area with these checkers, those are the middle ground, and then we have our background, the mountains and the sun. Okay, so again, your project does not have to look like this. However, sorry for the glare, guys. I don't know why. I think it's just because of the light. Your project does not exactly have to look like this, but it should look something similar, just so that you can understand what it means to have something in the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Take your time to color this. We have until Friday to get these projects done and sent in. As always, once you are done, take a picture of your work, upload it to Google Classroom, or text it to me personally. Thank you so much, and enjoy coloring in your project. Bye.